Hey everybody, welcome back to my Let's Play. We just finished clearing out the aqua ring, the water that had built up. So I'm gonna go this way now that the water's down. I can actually use this door, which is kind of nice. So I'm actually pretty excited, guys. I just a few days ago I saw Video Games Live, which if you don't know what that is, that's basically an orchestra. I think the orchestra, it seems like the orchestra changes depending on where it is. Like it tours all over the country. I think it might even tour in different countries as well besides the United States. But it's basically Tommy Tallarico, who he's a composer. He's composed for like a ton of games. The only game that I know of, the only game that I know for sure that he composed for, and I know this is gonna sound really awful because I've heard of him. He's like a super famous guy, but I know that he composed the music for the Sega CD Terminator song, and that music is like badass. Like I have some of the songs of the soundtrack for on my iPod, and it's pretty sweet. Like it's really good stuff. And I wanted, what else? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. I know he's done a lot of other really famous games, and it's a shame. I feel like if I would have played the games, I would know them. Like I would know that he did the songs for them. So that's really a shame. But it was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I had such a blast. It was because it was very, and the thing is, I went with somebody who's played video games in the past, but she was like, wow, I didn't really appreciate how complex a lot of video game music is, because she used to play like Atari and Nintendo, and of course, Nintendo had some intricate music. Like I can name 4 or 5 games just off the top of my head without even thinking that have songs that are really complicated, like Contra. Contra, Castlevania, Metroid. Bayou Billy has the music's pretty intricate. So even back then, it was pretty awesome. And to hear orchestral versions of like Castlevania, and it was nice because they mixed the old and the new. So you had the Castlevania medley. When I went this time, they had a few premieres, songs they hadn't played before, but they're coming out in an upcoming album, which is nice. So I'm looking forward to that. As soon as they announced that they were gonna do Donkey Kong Country, a little medley of it, oh my god, I about lost my mind there because it was, oh my gosh. You guys know me, and and I've said this before, so I'm not just saying this just to say it. Donkey Kong Country 2, Sticker Brush Symphony, is, for me, my favorite Super Nintendo song and one of my favorite songs of all time. I think I would have to say it's definitely in my top 3 at the very, very least. That song, oh my gosh, that song, unbelievable. And I've said this before, and I always like to say this story, like my video game music story. Even when I was a kid, you know how when you have nostalgia, there's that mixture of happiness and sadness that, I'm never gonna, I don't know, how do you define that little bittersweet feeling? It's like, I kind of miss that sentiment when I was a kid, right? So for me, even when I was a kid, even when I first played Donkey Kong Country 2 and I got up to the Bramble levels, that's where you hear Sticker Brush Symphony, I said to myself, even back then, wow, there's really no way that I'm ever going to hear another song that's even close to as awesome as this. I mean, holy cow. When you then and there in the moment you say, I don't know if I'm ever going to experience something as amazing as this again, you've experienced a very profound moment. At least that's what happened to me. And like I said, it's my favorite Super Nintendo song, although I do recognize that there's a lot of Super Nintendo games that I haven't played that I think has some like a really amazing music. I keep hearing Final Fantasy 6. I haven't really played many of the Final Fantasy games. I've only played 8. I've not even beaten it yet. That's a game I really need to beat. I got up to like disc 4, the beginning of disc 4, something like that. That's the closest I've gotten. But I've not beaten it. And I played a tiny bit of Final Fantasy 7. So, alright, so what do we have here? There's still a few other things that I need to do while I'm down here. And you guys saw that I had to kind of do a little bit of backtracking just to drop off some items and create some space, because there's some goodies here. But here's where I want to be. This is where the sharks are now that I had drained the water. So they're not as imposing anymore, thank goodness. But like I said in my previous video, I like that they made the sharks a little more intimidating in the remake versus the director's cut, because as I said, first of all, the area is much simpler in the director's cut. Oh snap. The area is much simpler in the director's cut. It's just kind of like a circular area, and you just have to run to the door, and by the time you're pretty much close to the door that you need to be in, that's when they introduce the shark. So it's really not that much tension. You're immediately by the door. So to me, that was a wasted opportunity. So here, and I love that part. It's just electrified shark. I've never eaten shark before. I've eaten swordfish one time. The irony of it is that I discovered seafood when I was in Spain. When I was in Madrid. Sorry, Madrid is in Spain, but the irony is not that I was in Spain. The irony was that I was in Madrid, and if you know the geography of Spain, you know that Madrid is in the middle of the country. It's not really next to a significant body of water. So I don't know why that of all places is where I learned how to eat seafood. You got me. I mean, I live in New York. We have City Island here, and I would eat shrimp or whatever. Oh gosh. Anyway, just a weird little side story. Okay, so I have this key, so I'm pretty much done with this area. But there's a few other things I want to take care of very quickly. Mainly what I want to do is there's a room on the floor above that I still hadn't gone to. I kind of just made a beeline to this area, and you saw what happened there. But there's a room, and if I'm not mistaken, that room is going to be the one that has the roots of Plant 42. That's going to be my next objective. Oh, look at that. There were 3 sharks then? Because I know there were 2 kind of flopping about on the floor below. I think that sounds about right. I think there were 3 sharks in the director's cut version as well. Okay, so that's it. So that just confirmed what I was thinking. There's nothing special inside. Okay, so this is where I need to use the next kind of major battle is Plant 42. And I think there's 2 ways to deal with the plant. One is to just fight the plant without attacking the roots, and the other is to actually create a chemical called the V-Jolt. You'll see details about it shortly, and that'll make the fight significantly easier. I recommend that. And apparently I learned in Chris's campaign, pretty much Chris just kind of says, I'm not able to make the V-Jolt. You have to kind of rely on Rebecca. And I think there's a particular set of circumstances that determine whether Rebecca makes the V-Jolt or not. Something like that. That's why I'm like, once again, really, seriously, Chris really gets the short end of the stick. Like, it's unbelievable. Alright. So I'll be back down here momentarily. So anyway, back to Video Games Live. Oh my gosh, and if you guys haven't seen the show, definitely I would recommend it. They have a website, like you can Google it and they'll tell you all the tour dates. As soon as I saw it, I kind of had this like resolution, not, I don't want to say New Year's. I hate to like limit myself to, okay, January 1st, that's when I have to resolve to change things. No, I've always found that notion really, really dumb. Like, you can pick any day to say, you know what, I'm going to start fresh, or you know what, I'm going to change this, I'm going to stop this bad habit, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So it's like, you can do it whenever. Why wait for a particular day? That's just going to create excuses. So anyway, one of the any day resolutions, let's just call it that I had, was to kind of explore more video game based events. And I feel like I'm in a pretty good area. I mean, I'm in New York, so it'll be surprising if there's nothing video game related going on, even if it's like video game music. As a matter of fact, I kind of like that, and I kind of want to, I would be surprised if I can't find some kind of video game cover band playing in some area. Like, that would be really surprising to me. So anyway, I just said, you know what, I had heard of Video Games Live for a very long time, and I'd been following them on Twitter, their official Twitter account. And I said, you know what, they have to play in New York sometime soon. I think one of the previous tour dates that I saw was like in Syracuse, and I was like, okay, that's a little too far for me. Like, that's not going to be very practical. So they got to play in New York sometime soon. And hell, even if they play in New Jersey, someplace like northern New Jersey, that works for me. I want to get tickets. So I finally saw that they were going to play in New York City itself. So I said, sweet, I want to do this. So, I mean, it was just, I literally had goosebumps. Like, it was just nostalgic moment after nostalgic moment. And it was nice because it was mixing old and new. So there were some new games that I really hadn't played. But it was pretty good. Like, the music was so epic. Even though I hadn't played the games, I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I would recommend it. I had such a blast. And they had so it wasn't just strictly the orchestra performing, it was also kind of different other things, different other treats that they had for us they had scheduled for us, so that was kind of cool. All right. So this is the resident key. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, sweet, a red herb. That gives me another full heal right there. So this is for room number 3. Okay, fantastic. So that's the door right over here. So you see the number right above. May as well use this to discard it. Okay, done. So now I have this door here. This is where I'm going to need to make the V-Jolt. And it has a puzzle. As you can see, the clue to the puzzle is in that room with the 2 spiders, the pool, the room with the pool table, and all that jazz. And I'm gonna be completely honest here, I still don't understand this puzzle. I mean, they give you several clues. They give you the colors, they give you the eye shapes, and they give you the numbers. It's all kind of a relationship between the pool table, the balls on the pool table, okay, fine, and the lamps that you light up. So I'm just gonna go back because I have a really terrible memory, and I'm just gonna look again. But first, let me go to the save room very quick. Man, I've really noticed that my short-term memory has really, really, really gone not uphill. I'm gonna say that. Definitely gonna say that. Just gonna put this back. And I'm gonna take... What else am I gonna take? Yes, because I'm not sure if there's any zombies in room 3. So, just as a precaution, I'm gonna go ahead. I really don't want to have to deal with them while I'm while I'm dealing with other things, you know. So, well, what else? I don't really want to. Is it about spoiling? Because the thing is that my understanding of video games live is that they change up their lineup of music. So each show is pretty much different from every other show, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice. And apparently, according to the guy Tommy Tallarico, he and I'm really just kind of like, my gosh, I should know more of his, because he said he's composed a lot. Oh, I don't want to spoil a lot, but they had surprise guests as well. They had some vocalists that are pretty famous, like Jillian Aversa. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of her. And as soon as I heard that she was going to come on the stage, I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty awesome. Because I'd heard a few of her songs. Like, there was a song that she made where she did vocals to a Metroid track. I think it was a Super Metroid track. And it was such a haunting song. I think it's Meridia. I think that's the song. Really great. And I didn't know that she was married to the guy who basically set up, or at least played a big part in the website OC Remix, which, if you don't know what that is, OC Remix is just a site that has a bunch of remixes of video game songs. Oh my gosh. That's another hobby of mine. If I'm not actually playing video games and stuff like that, I'm looking for remixes. I mean, it's, oh my gosh. So I have a ton. I couldn't even begin to list. I could not even begin to list how many I have and which ones I like and which ones I'm looking forward to. I don't know. It's just really amazing. And it's all free. Like, that's really crazy to me. Like, that, and you can tell people put a lot of effort into making those remixes. Like, they sound very, very intricate, and I'm impressed. I tried my hand at making a remix of a song. I actually made a remix for a little game, an amazing game called Action 52. One of the songs for one of the game's slashers. The song in that game is pretty catchy, actually. One thing I do have to say about Action 52, it gets a lot of flack, and it does. But it's a really funny game. And I'm sorry, by the way, I'm kind of talking over this file. So this is telling me how to make VJolt. So this is what you need to know. Number 3, 6, 7, 10, 17 VJolt, which is 20. So basically, what I have to do is I have to synthesize the chemicals, and the numbers tell me how to synthesize what I need to synthesize to ultimately make the VJolt. It tells you the colors. Don't really worry, shouldn't really be too concerned about the colors, because you just need to know the numbers. Alright, the bindings of the books. Okay, so I'm just going to rearrange these. So what I like about this, what they did with that puzzle there, is they changed up the combinations for the chemicals that you can make. And I think in some cases, some of the combinations, if you don't combine it right, I think you wind up getting potentially a poisonous gas. I believe. So let me check out what's going on in this bathroom. So they had Jillian Aversa. They also had I'm actually surprised there's no zombies in here. They actually had Tom Salta, who was really a surprise to me. I was definitely not expecting him to be there. Tom Salta, I didn't know he composed Halo. I haven't really played many of the Halo games, but he composed Halo. But I know him from his work on some Tom Clancy games. And you know me, I love Tom Clancy. One of the first games I ever played for the Xbox 360 was Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. So he did the music for that game. I don't know if he did it for the first one. I'm gonna guess yes, but I've not played the first one, not yet. And he also, if I'm not mistaken, he did the music for Hawks, which is another Tom Clancy game. That's HAWX. So I was as soon as I heard that name, I was like, "Whoa, that's a nice surprise." But even more surprising was that he did Halo. My gosh, He did some of the Halo games. I don't know if he did all of them, the composition for them, but it just goes to show you. Like, I'm always so surprised when I find out what people have done. I know them in a certain way, in a certain capacity, and then I come to find out that, oh, hey, I worked on this game as well. Like, that's pretty awesome. So, needless to say, I had a blast, in case that wasn't already abundantly clear. And would I go again? Absolutely. Absolutely, because I'm pretty sure if I go back, there's going to be different music, there's going to be new medleys, there's going to be new orchestral pieces, and I don't know. It's pretty exciting. So, okay. I'm ready to make the V-Jolt in the next video, so that's why I cleared out my inventory. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right here.